So we're recording. Welcome to the Mother Fiction Writers Podcast. It's me, Stevie, and
Stacey.
And Stacey's here. And then we have C.H. Lynn with us tonight.
Hello.
And we are so excited to talk with her about her new book. She released her new book on April 1st.
No joke.
And yeah. Well, that's my birthday too. So that's like,
nice.
I understand.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, no. So we're excited to just jump in and talk with her about all things book and Kindle Vella and
yes. And I just want to address real quick the reason why I am like a billboard compared to these two. My head's so huge in this little square. It's because I hurt my back because I'm old. And that's all I'm going to say about it. So
we're all old and she still looks gorgeous, even with a sore back.
They can't see you anyway.
I'm so close to the camera though. Like you guys are perfectly proportioned, and I'm like, I look like a mom's like photo on Facebook, you know, where they're like,
oh yeah, welcome.
Yeah. So.
No, well, that's what's funny is because we do on Spotify and on YouTube too. So then we're like, we're trying to learn it all in one. We just like to go all in at once.
Yeah, the good thing is people on Spotify, you can't see me, so thank God for that. So.
Yeah. No. So this will be fun, and we're going to jump in, and I'm going to have CH tell us a little bit about her and her books and writing style.
Mm-hmm.
So welcome.
Cool. Hi. Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor to be on the second episode. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So a couple years from now, I'll be like,
our first actual interview.
Starting this super cool podcast. I was on the second episode.
That's right. Yeah. You're the one that's going to get us all our views now.
Yeah. We're totally riding on your coattails. So
I think you're overestimating how long my coattails are. Tiny little jacket.
Well,
it's a tiny jacket.
I'm holding on with a tweezer. I didn't say what I was holding on with. Okay.
Oh gosh.
Fair.
No, literally.
Fair.
No. I went and looked at your Kindle and read some of what you wrote, and you have a lot of likes on there. Like, I was blown away. Not that I was thinking it wasn't going to have a lot, but I have like 34 reviews. So I was like, not sure what to expect. And then I saw like how many likes you had. And I was like, dang.
Yeah. And how long have you been on Vella?
That's what I was going to ask.
I started Vella in September.
Did you? Oh, nice.
Yeah. I have not been on Vella very long, but I put Hope and Lies up in September and made an amount of money that was staggering to my brain and kept going. All right, we're going to keep putting stories up.
No, that's awesome. So then Hope and Lies is the book that you just released too.
Yes. And
that's on Amazon.
Any of this was going to be visual, or A, I would have had makeup on, and B, I would have brought a copy of my book.
You look beautiful.
You look awesome. Yeah, you look great.
Thank you. I know I'm stunning, but I look even better with a little eyeshadow. And my hair brushed.
No, you do. You look great. I always just throw on it's very rare to have, because like you can't see anything over my glasses anyways, so it's rare to do this, but I've always like throw on a little lipstick and I'm good to go. That's all I need.
Well, my usual backdrop too is usually my office, which has like, now it's got a cool poster of like character art, and it's got
awesome.
Books and cute stuff, but my children are going to bed in the next half hour and my office is next to their bedroom, so
I'm
not doing that.
Yeah, don't blame you.
Go ahead and talk about Hope and Lies.
Tell us.
So where to start? I'm going to start a year ago. A year ago, my family moved to Colorado Springs. My husband had just finished getting a master's degree in data science from Stanford, which, all the kudos, snapping my fingers, super proud of my man. It was horrible.
Right?
It was 2 years of 12-hour days, 7 days a week, nonstop. He had one semester where he didn't have classes, so he kind of had a summer break during that 2 years, every other day was he's a math major, and data science is kind of math, but it's not. So anyway, it was hell. We got through that. We moved here, and my sister moved here with us, and she lived with us for about 4 months while she was like figuring out her life. And she decided she wanted to start pursuing music while she was here. So in May of last year, she was like, okay, so I'm going to get on the socials and actually, start promoting my stuff and recording my music and everything. And I was like, oh, that's smart. Yeah, I should get back on the socials too and try to do book stuff. And at the same time, she said, and also I would love to do the audiobook for Abradia, which is what the book was called at the time. Now that's the series name. And I was like, okay, so I'll do some rewrites. I'll do some edits on it. I rewrote 150 of the 200,000 words.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so between May, I can do math, June, July, August. Yeah, between May and August, I wrote 150,000 words, which
That's impressive.
was crazy.
Nice.
Thank you.
Yeah,
It was crazy. It was very exciting that it actually happened that way. I was able to find a place to take my kids in the morning where I had a couple hours to work. We go to the Y, and they've got a great learn and play center, and they're open for 2.5 hours for the kids. So literally
people are, I'm always talking to people, and I'm kind of telling them too, like, it's all about making writing a priority. Like that's what's going to do it. If you make it a priority, then you'll find the way to do it.
Absolutely. Yeah. So it's been a crazy year. So I think in August, I finally took the dive on TikTok. I was like, okay, I guess I'll do it. And
that could be daunting, right? Making the reels for TikTok. They're not really reels, but they are. I mean, basically.
I uploaded all of my Bookstagram stuff.
Yeah.
To Book Talk. And the Book Talk community is awesome. Very similar to the Bookstagram community. I feel like there's slightly less communication because it is all video. It's not like seeing somebody's post and responding to it. But I think her name is Jamie Dalton. Maybe don't quote me on that. This is recorded. Great.
Same. I'm the same. When I pronounce people's names, I'm like, if it's wrong, just tell me. You're fine.
If it's wrong, I'm just wrong.
Yeah.
She was talking about how she had paid for her most recent book launch by putting the book on Vella first, because the bonuses on Kindle Vella paid for her cover and her edits and all of that.
Smart.
She does her own covers, but they paid for all of the stuff that she needed. So I threw Abradia, Hope and Lies. I threw Hope and Lies up there. It's over 200 episodes. It's a very long book, and it's episodal format. So,
how many episodes did you throw out at a time? Did you just throw the whole thing out, or?
I did chunks of 5 several days a week for September. And then for so that was September, and then midway through I was like, oh, it'd be cool to put a short story up. So I decided to write Spooky Cat for the month of October because
I saw that one.
Yeah, Halloween.
So cute. I love that one.
Thank you. That is a favorite of most people that I talk to.
Yes, it's so cute.
It's a weird cat, and most people are gonna be there.
Yeah, I mean, it's a cute story about a demon who possesses a cat, and then the demon doesn't want to be there, and the owner doesn't want the demon to be there, and so they go on an adventure to get the demon out of the cat.
Love it.
I love that though. Have you ever read Sorcery of Thorns? Yeah, Thorns.
No, I don't. Oh, sorry. Hang on. Not for the audio. That's the German Shepherd. No, I have not read that.
Because there's one of my favorite characters is a demon who goes in. He's like a white cat form. And then, I mean, eventually he's not so much, and his name is Silas. And he is one of my favorite characters of all time because, like, you know, you're talking like demon who has like no emotions, but he's kind of like learning emotions and stuff. Mm-hmm. It's so good. I love that book. Good book. Anyone out there listening, that's a good book. Yeah. Besides Spooky Cat, go on Kindle Vella and also read Spooky Cat.
And it's real short.
It's very cute. It's very
Thank
cute.
you. It's 10 episodes. It's a cute little, if you're in the mood for something heartwarming, it's a cute little story.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I wrote that for October, and I was like, I should do a short story a month. So I wrote Song of the Deep, which is a reverse Little Mermaid retelling with a gay twist.
Love it.
Yeah,
And
I started that one, and I'm having trouble reading anything. So the fact that I read
I'm pumped too.
and a couple of pages should be like, I put your stuff. I did. I was like, I want to read more of her stuff. So
thank you.
read the first few pages, possibly chapter, like finish the whole chapter. That's the thing. I was reading at night, and I love your writing because it's very. I don't want to say it's not like it's like easy, but it sucks you in a very quick.
Yeah.
Where you don't feel like
you're not waiting for it to pick up. Like you feel like you're in the scene.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
That's just true.
Yeah, I showed Hope and Lies to a friend's mom, and she was just flipping through, and she pauses on a page, and she's like, "Get over here!" And I came over, and she points to the page, and she's like, "You talk about bodies already. It's page 5."
I love it.
I'm sorry.
Anytime.
There's
the way
dead
to
bodies
do
on
it.
page 5.
But that's how you reel people in.
How you suck
Yeah.
it in.
Yeah. No time. I like that.
Yeah. So Song of the Deep was a fun one. I'm actually planning a series of fairy tale retellings in that world. The second one is going to follow Prince Derek and also his brother, and it's going to be a Rapunzel retelling.
Perfect.
Cool.
Yeah.
So that'll be a fun one.
Retellings are huge. Retellings
Yeah.
are always like, once you get kind of your own way of like, oh, this sounds fun. I always say go for it. I've tried a few times and I just can't stick with it. But they're like how a lot of people kind of really got their going were retelling.
I had
it's essentially fan fiction.
Yeah, I have a pan retelling, not like trying to plug myself in this because it's about you, but like it took me a while to release it because I spun Tinkerbell and Eric in a bad light. Like they're not good guys at all in the book.
What is it a retelling of? I missed part of it.
It's just a retelling of Pan, like a whole, like it's a whole different, like it's not really like about the Lost Boys. It's more about like him saving Wendy Darling. He's a collector of souls, so like he collects people of passing. So like it was kind of one of those things, like when I was getting ready to like put it out there, I was like, is this really important? Like, is this really worth it? Because it's a Pan retelling, you know what I mean? Like I feel like they've been done like 1,000 times, but ultimately I was like, I already wrote it. Like
right now, but no, I like that. I like that idea too, because I've had that in mind where like Peter Pan is actually the bad guy, and like with the whole shadow thing, kind of like play on that, you know, like that, like almost like a soul sucker, you know, like that kind of stuff. I think that could
makes
really
retellings fun, or at least for me, is it was nice to write Pan because most of the rules are already there. So like you don't have to come up with everything by yourself. Like not that you're just stilling it, but it's like a premise. Like there's already a premise of Peter Pan.
It's essentially it's very much fan fiction. But also you said it's been redone 100 times, but each time is so different.
It's
and it
true.
sounds like your take on it was
very
different.
Yeah.
Which I love. I really liked Stardust as a kid. And I only read the first book, but there are 3 of them, which I have hardcover now because I found them at a used bookstore. But that was a cool take on Peter Pan, on the origin story that I really liked.
And you're right. I mean, every time somebody rewrites it, it's different. And I feel like most of them add value. Like most of retellings that I have read, even like just the smut ones for fun, add value. You know what I mean? Like they just
there's always something.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
Well, and that's what there's always like, who is it? Brandon Sanderson. He like starts off like his classes and stuff with basically saying that every person's book and every person's movie or story came from somebody else's story.
It's already been written. We're all following the great
You're just gonna take it on a
mythos of storytelling.
Yeah.
But anyways, we got off track. So you're writing for Kindle.
We do that. Sorry.
Isn't that part of the point
it's okay. I was just
podcast,
like,
though?
So, and you have like the little short stories, And then this book that's coming out though doesn't have anything to do with the Vellas. It's by itself, or is it part of?
It started on.
It started on Vella.
So
okay.
At the moment, all of the Vellas are individual stories. None of them are interconnected yet. I do want to do a sequel to Spooky Cat, and I'm going to do, like I said, a couple different fairy tale retellings in that specific world. And then I just put out one in March called The Time Traveler's Limbo, which is a very different genre. Still kind of mystical, I guess, because there's time travel, but it's apocalyptic, and the story is a story about a woman who simultaneously, because it takes place in the past and also in the present, simultaneously loses and then finds her humanity. So that was a fun one to write. Where did my brain go? Right. So I have those 3 main short stories, Spooky Cat, Song of the Deep, and Time Traveler's Limbo. And then I put Hope and Lies up on Vella to start to make the money to publish it. And I did. I made enough money to pay for the cover.
So smart. I wish I would have thought of that sooner. And I was telling Stevie this last time. So if you heard this last time, I'm sorry for repeating myself. But I had released a couple books on Vella. I have to correct the way I say it because for some dumb reason I was saying Villa, which it's like literally a novella. So duh. But anyways, I released I think it was 12 chapters and I made $100. But I didn't know that I made that and I pulled it. I unpublished it.
Oh no!
And I made $130, and I was like, I think I made a mistake. Because the reason why I pulled it is, if I'm being honest, I had maybe 13 readers. I had 13 likes and maybe a couple comments. So I just felt maybe this isn't the
nothing.
Yeah, so I was like, well, maybe this platform isn't for me. So I just wrote, and I was really nice. I was like, it's not Vella. It's just I just feel like I need more people to read it. And maybe if it's free, I can get more readers. So I moved it to Inkit. And then as I moved it to Inkit, I got my bonuses.
And you were like,
and was like, this was a mistake. I should have.
Right. So that's the part I was going to ask you a little bit more on, because it seems like I've watched quite a few videos. There's not actually a ton of videos out there about Vella, but I've watched at least 5, handful of them, and each one of the people were, no matter how high, how much money and all that, they're all it comes from bonuses, but we don't know exactly how we get those bonuses. Nothing's really been explained.
It is the mystery.
Right. Yeah.
It is fully a mystery. Mm-hmm. No one knows the algorithm.
Okay.
And there was a Vella convention, I want to call it a convention, in the fall. I don't know exactly when, but people were posting about it. And even the people who work for Kindle Vella who were there, Amazon employees, were either, no, we're not going to tell you, or no, we don't know. Mm-hmm. So it was around the time they added the comments. There's a beta program that they're doing on all of them right now where you can comment on the episodes at the end instead of just doing a poll or liking it or whatever.
Yeah.
The general consensus of authors is that it is it is about 80% about engagement, right? Yeah. So the number of people who not only read your story, but read the whole thing or read at least a few episodes at a time and like them, the people who follow it, the people who leave comments, leaving reviews, and then the other, however much percent, 20% is probably more than that, is how many episodes you're posting, right? So if you have a consistent schedule, I was doing Hope and Lies Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and I think also Saturday, Sunday, because I had so many episodes. And I was doing 5-episode blocks at a time, and I was just posting them. And the month of September, it was me, my mom, and my dad, and we were the only people reading through.
Yeah, that's how it was. Yeah, it was me and my husband.
Yeah, and I sent out a blast at the very beginning when I posted it to everyone that I knew, and I was like, "Hey, just the first 3 episodes are completely free. Just thumb up the first 3 episodes for me."
Right.
So within that first month,
I had tokens too if you haven't had an account before. They get an allotted amount of tokens too.
Yeah, and I think a fair number of my friends did that. But in the first month, I had 30 reads on the first 3 episodes. Yeah. So that I think helped. And then there are a ton of Facebook groups that are incredibly helpful for promotions and for doing promos and stuff like that. And they take some time, but they're definitely worth the investment, both financially and of time.
Yeah, because that's what I was seeing. Like the consensus of like what everyone was saying too was like Facebook ads, that anywhere else it like they weren't really getting anything pushed that way. And there's obviously no organic through Vella because it's so new.
Yeah, Amazon doesn't have a way to run ads for it. They don't run ads for it. Though I saw today that they're putting Vella stuff on Pinterest. Okay.
I really wish that they would put it like in the book recommendation areas, you know, where it's like, if you like this book, you might also enjoy this story.
Yeah,
like
that would
maybe,
be nice.
Yeah, that would really help because I did run an ad for Bella for the secret story.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I only ran it for a couple days because I didn't want to spend a bunch of money on.
What's it called? So, is it on Vella now?
No, it's on Ink. It was secret.
Okay.
But let's not talk about it because I haven't touched up on it since 20 chapters ago, and it's probably gonna sit there for a little bit because I got other books that are coming out.
Yeah, Stacey's actually releasing a book tomorrow too, so
yeah. It's okay. We won't talk about you.
You're taking the time to do a podcast record with me, and you're releasing a book tomorrow. Thank you.
No problem. I mean, honestly, it's already set up, so it's not like, I mean, I'll probably just share a TikTok like out now or whatever. But most of the pre-orders are already in, so. But I'm like, now I'm really thinking along the lines of like, man, maybe it should be Vella and then
a release.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, that screws me for my next 3 releases, but after those come out.
Well, it depends on when they come out.
Yeah.
Because if they come out more than, I'd say, 40 days from now, you can absolutely just dump those episodes. Yeah.
Well, yeah, maybe explain. I'll have you explain. There's that 30 day. That's what actually made
you're the Bella queen here. You're the
was that it's only 30 days after it's all there. So I'll let you explain that. Yeah.
So I was under the impression it's 30 days after you hit complete on a story. It's not. It's 30 days after you post the last episode, because there are plenty of people on Vella who have multiple seasons. So they've got like 300 episodes, and then they release book 1, book 2, book 3 of the seasons. Yeah. So you literally just, for example, if your next book is coming out in 40 days, you take the next 10 days, you post every single episode.
Okay.
And my advice to everyone listening, watching, and the two of you is short episodes. Try to stay under 2,000, 1,800 words.
Okay.
Stay under that, because you get bonuses for each episode you post. Mm-hmm. So why would you post a 5,000 word episode when you can post 5 1,000 word
episodes? It has to be like 600 words at least.
600 to 5,000. Yeah. Okay. And then that costs 6 to 50 tokens.
Yeah.
So you're also more likely to get.
And I'm trying to work on right now as I'm going through like my revisions, is I'm like, most of my chapters I tried to do, since it's a fantasy, not, novel romance. I had around 3,000 words was my chapters. Well, I've been trying to knock that down as to 1,500 to 2,000 at the most.
3 episodes, girl. 3 episodes. Get that extra, however much they give you for that episode posting.
I think that has to be this part of the key, because I had no readers, and I feel like $100 for 12 chapters. I mean, maybe I'm just poor.
If you posted
but
regularly,
I feel like that's a lot. Like,
it's a lot. Yeah, that is a lot.
Especially considering now I'm showing my hand, and I'm okay with that. I'm just gonna be that kind of indie author, I guess.
Do it.
But with my first release of my book that I feel like actually did well, which was Dark Side, I had 11 pre-orders, and I made, I want to say, $400 that first month with like the pre-orders and the going through the pages. But like, I mean, we're talking $100 for 12 chapters. Yeah. And this was a whole $400. This was a whole complete finished book.
Yeah. So like, if you guys are cool with numbers, I'm totally comfy handing out numbers.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like it's helpful, like as an indie author, when I first went into this, I really didn't know what to expect, and I didn't do well because I didn't know what I was doing, and I go back and I read my writing and it needs edited terribly. And I haven't pulled it from Amazon, and I probably should, but I'm scared because I can't find the files for it.
Oh,
So I want to
no.
find all the files before I pull them, because once I pull them, they're just gone. Like
Yeah.
disappear. But like I didn't know what I was doing. So like I kind of wish that I would have had somebody that would have been candid with me and been like, oh, not every month is going to be like $1,000 a month. Or not that I went into this thinking that I was going to be rich and famous. I mean,
Yeah, but
it
it's
just, I feel like it's
jumping
helpful.
into the deep end. And if you
Yeah.
have other writer friends and resources, then you maybe have a floaty. And
Yeah,
if you don't,
exactly.
you don't. Good
Yeah.
luck.
Yeah.
And you
Mhm.
just really feel like for that first couple releases that you're just like blind and reaching out and trying to like hope that you're doing
Well,
things right.
And
And
also, well, so
no,
finish.
go ahead. You're good. You're good. You're good.
Well, also, like for somebody who, a lot of us, we suffer from like imposter syndrome. So we're always like so
terribly.
afraid to
Girl,
share stuff.
every month,
and
the
go,
3 days preceding my period, I know I'm about to start because I get imposter
Yep,
syndrome so
real
flippin'
down.
bad.
Have you
Yep,
done this?
you're the
I
worst.
write a
Yeah,
story and
that's
I'm
how
like,
I am.
this is the best story I've ever written. This story beats all stories. Like this story is it. And then it's like the next day I'm going back through it and I'm like, wow, this sounds like
Or
second grade
I was maybe
reading. Like
drunk or
I'm
something.
reading it and I feel like a second grader. Like, and I'm like trying to like breaking down the words and stuff, and I'm like, I don't know, like, because I'll listen to it so many times or read through it so many times, and I'm like, I don't know, does that even make sense? Like, am I?
Yeah, straight up, that is something for every writer who, especially you newbies who are listening to this.
Yeah.
If you read any story more than 5 times in a row, you're not going to like it. It doesn't matter who wrote it or what the book is. You're not going to like it. It's like listening to your favorite song on repeat all summer, and when autumn hits, you hate it.
Good point.
That's just the way it goes. And then come back around to spring, it's your favorite song again.
Yeah, that's
That's
true.
for sure.
That's a good point. And there will be, and I'm not like trying to be Debbie Downer about this, but like there's a book out right now that I've written, it's Enemy, and it has such mixed reviews. And everything that I have thought about it has been said back to me through review.
Oh no.
So like you will get
hurts,
people
but-
that will that will tell you what you think, but that doesn't, I mean, if people like Jennifer Armentrout and other big like Sarah J. Maas can get bad reviews, then
bad reviews
yeah,
and stuff.
everyone
Like,
can.
and so they're gonna happen. It's gonna be there, and it is gonna be out. They're gonna say it in the way that hurts the most too. You're gonna be like, I knew this about this character, and you had to go and cut him down. You know, like that kind of thing.
Yeah,
And
I got my first negative feedback for Hope and Lies before it launched from one of my ARC readers.
Ouch.
Oh,
she was so sweet about it, and I got such support from like my little sister, who's my best friend, and a couple other really good friends who I told her critiques to, and they were like, "No,
yeah,
she's wrong."
Every
So that
story
made me
is
feel
not going to
good.
be for everyone. You know,
But
everyone has their opinion.
exactly. It was legitimately just not the story for her. And she
Right.
was so nice about it. We were chatting about something else. She had just started reading The Crown Prince. And I was like, yes, this series. And we were talking about it. And she was like, by the way, I don't like your book.
Like, slide it in there. Oh,
and
man.
there's no way. People are like, people will say, and this was big on TikTok, and I'm sure you've seen these TikToks. They're like, don't take it personal because it's for the reader. And I get that. I totally get that 100%. But there's also a part of me that like poured my soul into that. Like I bled for that book.
Yeah.
So it's hard for me to not take any offense, especially when you're saying things like you didn't like the flow of the story, or you felt like the writing wasn't good, or like
you didn't like a specific character, and you're like, no, I built that. That's my baby.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and there's so many of us that write, and like we've talked about this, and I've talked to so many that no matter what it is you're writing, there's always some form of like therapy to it. Like these words mean something to us for some reason or another. So then to have anybody criticize it, it's like, ouch. Oh, that hurts, you know?
And I mean, eventually, like, I'll just stop going to read them, the reviews. I've been trying to do that, but the Enemy has such few reviews that it's, and one of the things that they didn't like about it, which I understand if you grew up in that part, but they didn't like the landmarks that I used. They said that they were too far apart, like from each other. But the problem is I actually looked up times and I was like, there was a 5.5 hour drive for detention. So it's not like they just blinked their eyes and was there. And then I like looked up restaurants that were nearby and actually used like menu things and like even took into account that because it was Canada, I even took into account that the Thanksgiving wasn't the same.
Yeah.
Mm.
So like I
They were
really
like, this
tried.
fictional book is not accurate enough. And you're like,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, and like, and it's no offense to that person because it's okay. I mean, obviously they grew up there and it was really important. But like one of the things they said is if it wasn't bad enough to get like if it wasn't hard enough to get a teaching job here in Canada, like you did this, and I thought to myself, like, of course you can't say anything as the author, you just have to sit there and take it. But like I thought to myself, oh well, I'm sorry, I didn't know that there was vampires like lining up for this position.
Yeah.
Literally, I mean, he's literally.
So let me get this straight. Enemy is a book about vampires.
Yeah, he's a vampire.
Set in a place in Canada. And this person's issue was that your locations and food choices were not accurate enough?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and that
person needs to stop reading fiction.
Yeah.
Well, and she said in the review, and again, I'm not going to call her out, and everyone's entitled to their opinion, and I get her having an attachment to Canada. Like I totally understand. Like if it's a place that you grew up and like having an author butcher it, I get that. But she was like, and that's coming from somebody that reads monster romance. Wow. And this was literally a monster romance. I was like, this is literally okay, fine. It's all right.
Interesting. It just wasn't. That's why I told you I quit reviewing books because I was like, why does it matter? Like, why does it matter what I say? Because I never reviewed anything under 3 stars, but I still felt even 3 stars and 4 stars. I was like, why? Like, yes, I had these certain problems with the pacing or this character or whatever it was, but it was my personal problem with it, you know? And I know reviews are super important to writers and we need them.
Especially indie authors,
I was like, I can't do it anymore. I was like, why does it matter what I say?
I did a review tour last week and I'm doing another one this week. Last week was with Book Tour Gals on Instagram and this week is with Bound by Mischief, also on Instagram. And then I have 2 more set up down the road and they're all review tours. And the one last week was fantastic. It was awesome. I met a lot of lovely women and they were great. The majority of the reviews were 4-star reviews, which is still awesome.
Right. Yeah. Oh, that's great.
Yeah, and I'm absolutely here for it. I think, like you said, anything under 3 stars and I'm not going to leave a review.
Right.
But I also, it's so weird leaving a review as a writer because we read such a different way.
Without sounding like everything's about me. But I feel this way, like even talking bluntly about that review. I'm always afraid that I'm going to say something and be attacked for it. So like, I'm always afraid that I'm going to leave a review on somebody else's favorite author page and they're going to see that I too am a writer and going to just go leave negative reviews because they seen that I didn't
cause problems.
Yeah.
And that does happen.
It does. And like, I'm always like, even just talking about that bad review, like I'm afraid, even though I didn't mention names or anything, that they'll have more people like
who like go in and leave bad reviews just because you mentioned their bad review. Yeah, it's definitely important to keep a wide berth of the drama.
Yeah,
of any
and you're
you're
so afraid. Like I won't even leave certain comments on TikTok because I'm afraid that it could come off wrong or make somebody upset, and then
it's also incredibly hard to like display tone via any sort of
text. Over the internet.
No, I completely agree. I do leave reviews. I haven't been reading a lot because I published a book recently.
It's hard,
I just finished reading the first 2 books of a friend series. They're called The Alternate Chronicles, and it's, oh my gosh, what does she call it? Alternate contemporary world. It's dimension traveling,
Okay.
and murder mystery, and they're really good books. And so
Yeah.
I did write a full review, put it on my website, and left
Right.
reviews for her.
Right.
And that's what I've done a few for writer friends and stuff like that. I will
Yeah.
do that, especially if, like, for Stacey, I loved her Dark Side book. That was one, I loved it so much because I feel like I've been around since your beginning books, not your very beginning books, but almost beginning books. And that was the first book for you that I was like, I don't care what these words even say. They were incredible. I could feel that you were in it and you were finally in your zone. And that made me just be like, 5 stars, 5 stars.
Yeah, it really took a time to set aside, like, if family reads this, or like coming from a Christian, like, upbringing of like no sex and staying, like, it was very traumatizing. And I won't say too much because I'm not like gonna bash on people that are Christian or that love Jesus or whatever. But like for me, it was just so, I don't know if you've seen that TikTok, but he's like, for me. But anyways, for me, I just felt like every time I wrote something, it was fake because I didn't put what I actually wanted to put in there because I was afraid somebody else was going to read it from the church and then they were going to judge me for it. And then in Dark Side, I just let it all hang out.
Like, nope, I'm just going to open my soul, and if you don't like it, don't read it.
We're just going to talk about sex, and we're just going to make it how I want to make it, and I'm just going to say whatever. And if you read it and you don't like it, then that's okay.
Right.
I don't see, that's the thing. Even with that bad review, I don't go into writing thinking that I'm not going to get bad reviews.
No, that would be setting yourself up. That'd be like just like walking off a cliff. Why would you even do that?
Exactly. Like, it's not like I wasn't
enough that imposter syndrome that it's like
I just was talking about how sometimes can suck as an indie author because you can have your biggest fears confirmed and you just have to keep going. You just have to know that everyone's not going to like what you write and they're going to have issues with it, and it's okay. So that's what I was trying to convey. I was not trying to attack the reviewer or trying to say, I'm just saying that you're going to have good with bad. And the last time that I had the bad review, we were actually doing our podcast. And literally right as we ended our podcast, I went and checked the review, and that is what I saw. So it's like fresh on my mind. So, but I just feel like, don't go into it thinking that, people aren't going to.
Your work is not perfect, and not everybody's going to like it. And sometimes the bad reviews are accurate, and sometimes they're not.
And I have read books that have been very well edited and very well written and just beautiful, like through and through, and I have absolutely loved. And I will see a 1-star review that says, this was so poorly written.
Yeah, I know. That's
and
what
I'm like, okay.
Just different reading styles, fully just different education levels, different upbringings, different reading styles, different regions that you're from.
Yep.
There's so many factors. It's the same thing. Reading a story and writing a story are very similar in terms of you are never reading the same story that someone else does. Like,
that's true.
I'll read the same book. None of us are going to picture the exact same thing. Telling a story is like reciting a movie to somebody. They're going to picture something different than what you picture.
Yeah, that is
and
true.
And maybe they won't like what they picture. And
I've noticed that with character drawings. Have you guys noticed that? Like, you'll have a character like one way in your head, and then you'll see the character that somebody else drew, and you're like, wow, like that is not how I see them. And it's literally the same. It's the same description. So like, if you know that, like, okay, well, they obviously know who it is because it's the same description, but you'll just look at it and think to yourself. Or like, I follow the Twisted Sisters because I am like obsessed with them, and I'm on their Facebook group, and they like, people will post like, this is my Darius, I don't know if I'm saying that right, this is my Rory, and like everybody's person is different, and there will no doubtably, like, I'll find somebody and I'm like, okay, that's exactly how I picture Ryder. Yes, that's how I see him. And I'll go to comment and be like, that's exactly, they'll be like, no, this is my Ryder, or no, this is who I see as Ryder, or so it's just kind of funny how
Yeah, no, I agree with that because one character that I am always like my favorite series is the Folk of Air series. I love it. Carden and Jude, love them to pieces. Love even Maddox, love it. Love
Cardigan. I
but
love Cardigan.
I can be picky about Carden because I had this certain person in my head, you know, and not that I would ever say anything ever bad about anyone's drawings. Like all of them are epic.
Oh yeah.
There's a certain one that I would gravitate towards and be like, that's exactly who I pictured.
Yeah.
You know,
I got character art done for the book launch. I have a whole poster. I didn't know we were gonna be on video.
Sorry.
You can, but we have to like pause.
Yeah.
Shoot. I'll send it to you. But
Okay,
I've got
you can always pause too because I can just hit record once you're
okay.
and then put it in.
Do it.